Hello, BookTube. I got a big old book haul for you, and it's from all over the place. So this isn't me going to one shop or any of that. This is bouncing around a bit. So just going to get to them because there's a lot of them here. The first thing is James Cameron's story of science fiction, televised interviews with various folks. Movie oriented, some mention of the novels. Happy to have this. So it has Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Christopher Nolan, just all Ridley Scott, all sorts of stuff. A lot of art, movie stuff. Let's see if I can find. Let's see here. Well, they just had a novel there, I think. They have a movie poster, Destination Moon. A lot of this sort of stuff, and it's just fun to go through and reminisce about the movies and that sort of thing. So happy to have it. That was at Ollie's. For those of you that have an Ollie's near you. Next thing I found is this. It's in the National Geographic Directions. This is Crete by the novelist Barry Unsworth. They ask writers to go and describe places they love. I have not read this one, but the next one I've read and is one of my favorite books of all time in the same series. It's by Jan Morris, and it's A Writer's House in Wales. I love this book. I just absolutely love this book. So Jan Morris, her connection to Wales. When she wrote as James Morris, of course, many of us remember the Pax Britannica stuff. Travel writing is unequaled here, and I wanted a picture. I can't find one. I'm not going to hold up for it. So glad to have this. This one's actually a replacement copy. I can't find my original copy, or I gave it away because I loved it so much. But I've got this, and I'm so happy. Great book. Great, short thing, but great book. Then this is one I've seen around. This is How the Scots Invented the Modern World, the true story of how Western Europe's poorest nation created our world and everything in it, by Arthur Herman. Maybe about a hyperbole there, but it'll be fun to see what they have done. This is, let's see. This is an MJF book, so that's a reprint. 2001's the copyright. So, I mean, I've seen this around, and I've always thought about giving it a read. Then we have Everyday Life in Early America, David Freeman Hawke. This is a paperback, but a standard work on colonial America. Basically, how did Europeans become Americans? So I do a lot of reading in this stuff, and this is a standard text. I'm looking forward to it. Then a very New England-oriented one is Bootleggers, Lobstermen, and Lumberjacks, 50 of the Grittiest Moments in the History of Hardscrabble New England. Again, a well-known book. This is by Matthew P. Mayo. So, the one I remember most is a smuggler up on Lake Memphremagog that's part in Canada, part in Vermont. And during Prohibition, they kept chasing this smuggler and finally just took his boat away one night while he's on an island. And 100 years later, you find his... Oh, no, he wasn't for Prohibition. He was for when Thomas Jefferson put the embargo on stuff. So then they later find his skeleton, that sort of thing. This one's new to me. When Benjamin Franklin met the Reverend Whitfield, Enlightenment, Revival, and the Power of the Printed Word. You wouldn't normally think of these two gentlemen. So Franklin, Enlightenment, Whitfield, the Great Awakening in America. A fascinating topic. Who did this? This is John Hopkins. So this I'm looking forward to. I don't know anything about it. Not a story that I remember much about, so I'll learn something. Then I have Indian Givers, How Native Americans Transformed the World by Jack Weatherford. This has a thing saying he wrote best-selling author of Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World. I'd like to find that. That sounds interesting. So, there you go. Then, Trail of Tears, The Rise and Falls of Cherokee Nation. Horrific story in a lot of ways. I think the author, John, it's pronounced Ely. Looks like a really in-depth type of thing. And interesting if sad topic. So you'll have, President Jackson, you'll have, all that stuff. The Voynich manuscript, The Unsolved Riddle of an Extraordinary Book, which has defied interpretation for centuries. I don't know as much about this book as a lot of booktubers do. I haven't followed it much. I mean, I've heard of it. It's a very strange manuscript that was discovered, and people have been trying to decipher it and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to give it a read so I can see if I can catch up with everybody else. This thing is a beauty. This is the Maxims of Noah. All right. Wonderful little book by Gillette Burgess, guy born in Boston, but associated with San Francisco. He taught at Berkeley in the early 1900s. This is sort of Moses giving advice to Noah giving advice to his son about women, but it's pointed. It's before and after the flood, and there's some pointed barbs or social commentary in this. So, really a beautiful thing, odd thing. And what I read was that Gillette Burgess is the guy who coined the term book blurb. So that's sort of interesting. So San Francisco related or connected book. This next one, again in the West, no dust jacket. I don't know if it ever came with one, but some of the labels coming off here. Got illustrations. This is In Search of the Golden West. Let me turn the page here. The Tourist in Western America by Earl Pomeroy, Alfred Knopf, 1957. I think it's a fairly well-known treatment of that phenomenon. So that the West always interests me. This one, can you see it there? Yeah, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all that of Edmund Wilson. I have the journals. This is Edmund Wilson and Mary McCarthy on Cape Cod. To the Life of the Silver Harbor by Reuel K. Wilson, who is Edmund and Mary's son, biological son. He was a academic, I believe, in Toronto. And this is just their stories of their lives on Cape Cod. They had a really cool picture in here of their house saying goodbye because of beach erosion. But fascinating subject, fascinating people. So I'm looking forward to this. That'll go with my my Edmund Wilson collection. Then here we have a very, very old copy of The Cloister and the Hearth. And these nice old leather bound things with the marbling on the inside, which is fun. This one's in pretty good shape. There's no date on it, but it's New York, A. L. Burt, publisher, and it's by Charles Reade. And it's just a famous old book. A book that was really loved in Victorian times, I think. But modern writers like Graham Greene and those really thought it was boring and hated it. So who knows? I'll have to check for myself. Then this one here is the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. I always liked his Old Man War series. This one, I guess, is about giant pandas on an alternate timeline or something. I may have that wrong, but I got a general idea. So that'll go on the list. It'll be a little farther down, but it's one you do hear about on BookTube, so you probably look it up. Then, because I love nautical history, this is Ian W. Toll, The Pacific Crucible, War at Sea in the Pacific, 1941-1942. Really looking forward to this. I like this sort of stuff. Any nautical thing like this is going to get my attention, naval warfare. I do tend to do more of the Age of Sail, but right now I'm like trying to put together Samuel Morrison's United States Naval Operations in World War II, which is a big old set, and I'm partway through it. Then these two are related, so let me do what I can here. So the first one here, and well, I'll show you what they look like together with the paper labels. This one here is Stories of Boccaccio, the Decameron, translated from the Italian into English with original etchings by Leopold Fleming, who I thought was Belgian, so I don't know about him translating it into English or what the story is here. So wonderful thing to have. And then sort of related to it, same series, and also was influenced by Boccaccio, this is Droll Stories, Balzac, and with the Doré illustrations. Collected from the Abbeys of Touraine, Droll Stories. So there are illustrations, but here you go. So, very old-fashioned looking. This one, I was so excited for this one. I'm an ex-Coast Guardsman, a Coast Guard veteran, and I love Coast Guard histories, and Coast Guard includes United States Life Saving Service and Lighthouse Service and all those. And this is That Others Might Live, the U.S. Life Saving Service, 1878 to 1915. Just thrilled to have this. I don't ever see it out in the wild, and I'm going to really enjoy it. This goes to the top of the pile. Then an odd thing here, Uther and Grain by Warwick Deeping. Beautiful cover. What's this, 1920s maybe? I know it's the dude's first novel. I got a little bit of that onion skin paper here. Illustrated by W. Benda. New York, Grosset and Dunlap. And this is a reprint from 1906. So an Arthurian story. Some later novelists, a little dust on that one, thought this guy was boring, but he was a bestseller in his day. So a lot of people getting called boring. Do I know that's true? I don't know it's true. Then Algernon Blackwood, Episodes Before 30. Boy, these books are getting to me. And this is an autobiography about the famous writer of the macabre and ghost stories and all that. And then, finally, The Executioners by John D. MacDonald. And there's a picture of the author a long time ago. So the guy who did Travis McGee Mysteries and all that. Whoa. Simon & Schuster, New York, obviously a book club edition. 1957, and it's Sam Bowden's testimony. It helped put Max Cady, a rapist, behind bars during World War II. Now that Cady appeared out of nowhere in a small town where the Bowdens led their leisurely life. So typical John D. MacDonald book. So that is it for the book haul. I ran through them as quick as I could because I could get outside and help my wife with the garden. So thank you, BookTube.